If every day when you turn on the news, it feels like you're in a toxic relationship that you just cannot get out of, and whenever you turn on the news, it's just another wave of bad news after bad news after bad news. You are not crazy. They are trying to overwhelm you on purpose. My name is Breezy, and this is America No Filter with my co-host,
It's your girl, Jazz the Diva.
as the Diva. And we are going to talk about some really, really important topics today. We have made it to episode 2, and we're just going to get into it. The topic, we're going to start talking about Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr., because he's not being talked about enough.
Absolutely.
We want to highlight what happened to Keith Porter, and we also want to talk about the incident with Don Lemon, Georgia Ford, and the other journalists. So, Des, I know you've been doing a little bit of backstory on Keith Porter Jr. Tell us a little bit about what you learned about him.
Definitely. I learned that it was his neighbor who was an ICE agent that unalived him. The police didn't know he was unalived when they got there. They were calling for him to come out the home, and he was over to the side alive. From what I understand, everyone loved him that lives in a larger complex, but neighbors were saying that he was a good person, always had a smile on his face, a happy guy. He was shooting celebratory shots as lots of people do. At best, it's a misdemeanor. At best, he would have gotten a ticket had the actual authorities come and observe what he was doing. But his neighbor went in, put on his tactical gear, and came out and addressed him about the celebratory shots, and it escalated to him being alive. So for me
What happened
personally,
to the neighbor?
God, the neighbor went home. Went home. Talk about way too comfortable.
And we didn't get to learn his name for how long?
It was several weeks because we just recently learned his name. This happened on December 1st. So several weeks went by before his name was even given to the public and to his family. His family didn't even know. I'm outraged on their behalf because it's ridiculous. What's driving me though is the lack of hearing his name, and not to take away from the others that have been unalived by ICE. I'm truly sorry to their families as well. But again, another Black life lost, and no one is speaking up about this life.
Yeah. So again, we know that Renee Good
Mhm.
and Alex Preddy both are also victims of
Absolutely.
ICE and were killed by ICE. We know
Mhm.
that to be true, but we also know their names.
Yes.
But we don't know about the more than 30 names that preceded them that died since Trump came back into office last year. So I think that I share the outrage with you because as soon as Renee was involved in that incident with the officer and he took her life, everybody knew. It
Mhm.
was national news and international news. But when a Black person is killed by some kind of government authority figure or state sanctioned violence, they want us to be quiet about it. So I think
Absolutely.
that that's the thing that gets me is that when there's violence perpetrated against Black bodies, brown bodies, you don't hear about it because they don't think that we matter. But if that same kind of violence is perpetrated towards a white individual, it's news. And everybody should feel something. We all should feel a type of way about it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but I think that the outrage that we feel when somebody white is killed is the same type of outrage everyone should feel when anyone of any background is unjustly killed. And I
Yeah.
think that we don't that's obviously not how things work here in
I
America.
agree. I agree. And let's point out that there's been a collective outrage, Black people included. We were outraged for Renee. We were outraged for Alex. We would be outraged for the next person and whoever comes after. We truly didn't care about the race. We saw the action. We empathized with what happened, and we collectively became outraged with everybody. That doesn't
Absolutely.
happen for us. That doesn't happen for us.
But that's the essence of humanity, right? Is to care about another human's
Absolutely.
situation and or circumstances. And that's something that historically Black people have been able to empathize with other people and other people's struggle because we've struggled so much, right? So we know what it's like. And so when we see it happen to somebody else, it's easy for us to identify. that pattern recognition, like, here we go again. This is something that we are all too familiar with, but I think that it's the inability for certain people to see the humanity in us. And I think that
Mhm.
that is why it's so easy for them and the government, whoever, to dismiss when something happens to us. They want to make it quiet. However, flip the nail on the head, right? If it's a black person perpetrating some kind of violence and or crime, that will get magnified and amplified,
Mhm.
right? Because we want to make an example of that person, i.e., Don Lemon
Mhm.
and and the black journalists who have been arrested for being journalists.
Yeah, I was watching a small clip about Don Lemon, and they were comparing what was in the document that was attempting to put the charges on him to what was actually happening, and there is absolutely there's no comparison between that document and actual video footage of him being greeted by the different people at this church, speaking to them being willing to be interviewed, walking away without being held there because they made it seem like he was aggressively trying to make these people speak to him and aggressively holding them there. I even seen him open the door to
Right.
as to let them walk out. So not only are we held to a different standard, they are creating a story as to what they want the people to believe that Don Lemon did. He did none of it, and it's all on video footage.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, whenever this administration wants to, perpetrate or push their agenda, they're going to spin it however they want to spin it. They're spinning the situation with Don Lemon and the other journalists, just like they spun Renee Good, just like they spun Alex Preddy. Like, they spun it, and it's like, but this is on video. Like, we literally see this. I mean, the gaslighting is next level because they get on television and then they literally, I mean, play in our faces. I mean, lie straight up and down. Like,
Yeah.
literally telling us, don't believe what you actually saw. Just believe whatever we tell you.
Do not believe your own eyes. And they've been doing it to us for ages because we watched George Floyd take his last breath no matter what they try to tell us. We
Absolutely.
saw. And they're still trying to convince us that everything but Derek's knee on this man's neck took his life. We saw it.
Right. Right.
On.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's because when you don't see the humanity in somebody, you don't care when their lives are lost. There's no emotional investment. And I think because the government and racism and white supremacy has done such a great job in othering, other groups of people, demonizing
Mhm.
people with darker hues of skin, people don't even think twice about, whether or not they should care if a black person died. Not understanding that our experiences are very similar.
Mhm.
Lived, I mean, we have the same wants, have the same needs, have the same drives. I remember Maya Angelou saying, we are more alike than unlike. And that
Mhm.
is true. No matter where you go across the globe, our basic human needs are the same. But
Mhm.
racism and white supremacy has convinced these people that there's nothing, they have nothing in common with pretty much all of the rest of humanity, which is kind of crazy.
Well, they know. They're fully aware. They're just afraid that if they allowed people to operate in their own excellence, that we would be superior. And they cannot handle that because it's going to put an end to everything they thought they truly were. Not to reduce anybody. I'm not trying to reduce white culture, the white race or anyone like that, but the honest truth is they don't want us to operate in our greatness because it's going to make for some reason black people being great makes a white supremacist feels less than. And that's why they don't want us to operate in my opinion, in our greatness.
But I think that, I mean, white supremacy in and of itself is a lie. And I think that
Absolutely.
that's the biggest problem because white supremacy has held up that based solely on the color of your skin, you are better than XYZ groups of people.
Mhm.
And I think there's a cognitive dissonance happening within a lot of these individuals. And that's why they're so angry because one of the things that was always crazy to me is that you live in a nation, a country that is literally built to your benefit. Why are you so mad?
Pissed
Like all the time.
every day.
So it's like, I mean, if you're superior, like like you say you are, why are you so concerned with people that are supposed to be less than you? Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, anybody that I feel like is not on my level, I don't concern myself with.
How the kids say, "Clock it."
Right? Like, I mean, if you believe that Black people are so inferior, why do we occupy so much of your time?
Right.
Like, just I mean, and literally, we've been saying, just leave us alone.
Yeah.
But y'all don't wanna do that either. So it's like, well, you don't want us with you and you don't want us without you. And I'm just, which one? What? You can't have it both ways.
They want us with them, for them, and not thriving on our own, which is why anytime that we build our own communities, they've been burned down because they don't want us thriving without them because it puts an end.
Well,
You can no longer act superior when people are.
there you go. It shines a light on the lie. It shines
Yes,
a light on the lie because it's like, well, if they're thriving without me, but I'm not thriving, there I mean something isn't computing. The math ain't mathing.
in my
It's
Cardi B
telling me
face.
that I'm supposed to be superior, but I'm not feeling superior because what was that video? I think you shared a video with me of some racist people. They was mad because a Black person was driving a Lexus.
Oh my goodness, they were
You
so
you shouldn't have
upset.
that. How did they get that? I've been working
I've
my
been in
whole
my
life. I don't have
community
that.
this
Why do
whole
they have
time.
that? And now, again, white supremacists, not well-meaning white people, not allies, because we have those out there, accomplices, we
Absolutely.
got them out there. But white supremacy, like I said, is built on the premise that you are better solely based on the amount of melanin or lack thereof in your skin. And that's it. And so when they see that, but then they see people that are more melanated that are doing better than them, they feel a type of way about it. And I
Right.
would too, because if I had a 400-year head start and I'm still fucking behind, hey, I mean, if I see that you started in the parking lot and I started on third base and you just made it the home plate,
Imma have a question. Imma have a question or 2.
I might be mad too. So I get that. I get it. But just pull yourself up from your bootstraps. Take your own
Right.
advice. And we all know that it's not that easy, but I think
No.
that, you know, back to the topic, I think what I'm seeing when I see this situation with Don Lemon and the other journalists, it's like lynching, if you really want to be real about it, because what was lynching but a public spectacle of Black death as a warning to other Black people of how to behave or how not to behave. That's
Okay.
the
There you
example,
go.
right? That is made. We're going to make an example of you. Now, I don't think any of this is really going to go anywhere because there's video.
Oh, when we saw
There's
the video.
video that
It's a long ass
shows
video.
that none of it was like 7 hours of recording.
Girl, it was a play-by-play. It was a whole
None of what you're
play-by-play.
saying is accurate, but, when you get on TV and you wake up and you lie every day and that's your job, I get it, but I think that right now what they wanna do is make people afraid. That is the goal, I think, of this administration is to scare people into submission. That's what they
And
wanna
Trump
do,
is
and I
pissed because he can't scare us like he wanted to.
I'm about to say I hate to be the one to tell you, but, no.
He
Let
is pissed. You can tell that boy, that piece of wig ain't never wigged like it's been wigging lately. Boy, he is pissed because he's just like, why are these people not? Because we've learned to band together.
Yeah, and
This
that's the time that it's on right now. Like,
is very
really,
lucky
I
if you're
mean,
buck.
I remember growing up, and I think we would always have these conversations within our community. Like, I couldn't have been born back during slavery times because I would have and there's a lot of the people I don't hear from none of them now. What they
Okay.
would have done, I'm like, we are barreling towards those times again. What are you
Yeah.
doing now?
Yeah, I really hate to hear people say, "Oh, I'm not my ancestor."
Yes,
Baby,
you
we
are.
know. Well, we know. We
No,
know.
no, no, no,
Cause
no,
you,
no, no,
cause
no,
you,
no. I am them and then some. Like I am all of their strength and more. Because see, that's the thing. Like I think there's a fallacy that our ancestors were just these docile humans until just one day they
yes,
decided they were over it. And I just think that that is historically inaccurate. I think they were fighting a long, long, long. And so when people say I am not my ancestors, for me, I am. I am
yeah, I'm
every hope,
offended
every
by that
dream.
phrase.
I am the strength that they had, the resilience, the willingness to move forward against all odds. That's me.
Yeah,
I am all of that and then some. So I like to say that I am them instead I'm
yeah.
not them because again, it took them. They were the ones that got us out.
Exactly, which is why I can't stand when people say that I am not my ancestors. Yes, because we know because these ancestors over here were far beyond what we're even willing to do now. There's no way that Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King and damn sure not Malcolm X would be taking any of this as calmly as some of us are taking it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's so many of us that are passionate and willing to fight and we see the struggle and we're ready, but there's it's usually the ones that are saying, "Well, I'm not my ancestors," that are sitting back when it's time to come to the front line.
Comfortable. They're still
They're
comfortable.
very comfortable, and at this point, we gonna have to sit in some discomfort for a minute in order to be able to get to the next level.
Yeah.
That's why I'm offended when I hear them say, "Oh, I am not my ancestors." Okay, well, we know because you're not progressively moving towards what the goal is.
Yeah. When you are in a place where you are comfortable, you're not going to be able to grow. Um,
Absolutely.
we need to grow past wherever we are in this phase of history, but it's going to take people getting outside of where they're comfortable. And I think in that regard, we are not like our ancestors, but I don't think that they were ever as comfortable as we've gotten.
Mm-mm.
And I think that would be a difference is because we are further removed from that time of enslavement and we have made some advances, obviously. We are definitely not where we want to be in this country, but we had gotten to a place that we were a lot more comfortable. And I think that people are still finding comfort in things and they don't realize that everything that we have can go. We may not have all of these things if we continue to allow ourselves to be bullied by our own government.
Let Trump have his way and give him 30 days. He came in hitting the ground running. We have never had a president that within the first year we hear about this man every single day. America is going to need therapy by the time we finally are able to peel his pen out his hand from signing all them damn executive orders.
Man, yeah. They want us to feel traumatized. They want us to feel overwhelmed. They want us to feel constantly, barraged by these tidal waves of events to keep you disoriented, honestly, because when you are just think about it, if you're in an ocean, right? Or at the beach and you got in the water and you can't swim, every wave that comes in, you feel like you're gonna die.
Mhm.
Especially if you're going under, you're drown you come up, you catch your breath, and then boom, there's another one. That's kind of what we're in right now. We're coming up, we're trying to catch our breath, and then tomorrow there's something else. And then we try to catch our breath, and then there's something else. And then, and it's just constant. And it's easy to be disoriented. It's easy to not really understand like what to do and to be kind of overwhelmed. But that's what they want. And it's harder to organize when you feel that way. But I think that when you understand what's happening, you can kind of pull yourself back and realize that these waves that you feel like you're getting hit with, you're just actually face down in a puddle and you need to stand up. You stand up, you stop drowning. And I think it's time. We people gotta stand because if you're waiting on the government to do it,
You go that
it ain't gonna happen.
one of them waves will definitely take you. One
Yeah.
of the waves will definitely
Maybe
take
let's
you.
tell the truth. The government is not here to save you. They are not gonna save us. We literally have to save ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as heartbreaking as it is that we didn't get the qualified black woman, the only qualified candidate at the time, I kind of think we needed this. I think this is a part of the plan. Like we needed to break completely down so that things could be more clear to more people because so long as it was just us being killed, so long as it was only happening to black people, no one was ever going to wake up. But now
Mhm.
that it is happening to other people and they are like distraught that it's
Oh,
happening
yeah.
in their community, not that I feel like anybody should have been unalived. I don't agree, but I do feel like the chaos that's happening from this administration needed to happen in order for us to be able to have a reckoning. Otherwise, it'd have
Mhm.
just been us getting harmed, getting alive forever without any reckoning. That's my personal opinion.
No, I can understand that. Yeah. I think that the system needed to come down.
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of the way that this is happening. Like if I had my way, like if I could choose another way to do it, it wouldn't be in all this chaos and confusion and Trumpism but to your point, would it have come down any other way? I don't
I
know.
doubt it.
I don't have an answer for that, but I do think that the system was designed to keep certain groups of people away and from having the same kind of access. And so it was successful in that. And so it does. It needs to come all the way down, without a doubt. It sucks. The way
Mhm.
it's coming down, it's gonna suck for everybody. All of us are gonna feel the impact. And that's why anybody that's like riding the fence right now, anybody
Yeah,
that doesn't feel like, well, this isn't our fight. Maybe not today, but what about
but
tomorrow?
it will be. It will be.
Right.
Yeah, we call ourselves America No Filter, so I have to be completely honest. I struggle with the fact that people are now waking up, and when it was us, they watched us fall. They watched us cry over the bodies of our loved ones. They watched numerous of families on the news having press conferences speaking about how beautiful their loved ones were, and they did not bat an eye. They voted for this man because they thought it was never going to happen to them. They were convinced that it would never be them. Even
Yo, a
the
bunch of them voted for
qualified
their own demise.
yes, the qualified candidate told you, "It will not only happen to my people, he is coming for you." So you were warned, and so to see people now banding together, I won't even lie, on Friday, I did take part of, not shopping, stay at home, saving my money and whatnot, but I cried because I felt like, "My goodness, this was what we prayed for so long as Black people."
Mhm.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see everybody banding together, but damn, it's painful.
Yeah. Because there's still the reminder that our lives weren't worth enough for you guys to do all this for.
Absolutely, because on the 31st of December, this started with Keith. And it took 7 complete days for somebody else, not of the same culture, to be unalived, for people to wake up.
Mhm.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because we're coming together finally, but it's heartbreaking because damn.
But see, a certain part of the population, they were convinced that being woke was negative, right? It's all about the media that you were consuming. What are you seeing and what are they saying? And how are the headlines coming in and how and how are they framing victims versus perpetrators? And I think it is a social conditioning. It is propaganda. It is brainwashing to a degree, especially if you stay on Fox News all day. Like
Girl.
you really not gonna know nothing about nothing. The psychology behind when you demonize or other a group of people, like
Mhm,
your empathy goes down to the point that you almost don't have any. And we've seen that. And
mhm.
so oftentimes the people that have the most empathy are the ones who are hurt the most because they
And
know
they
how it feels, right? And the ones who have the least amount of empathy are the ones that are least impacted by a lot of these kind of social events that we're seeing right now, these things that are happening. And so I think that it's really, to your point, it's a shame, but it's also on
it's definitely on brand.
for America.
Yeah, we keep on saying, "Trump wants to be like Hitler." Baby, Hitler wanted to be like America. America is being like America.
Yeah, but it's easy to say that Trump wants to be like Hitler or that these modern day slave catchers are like the Nazis or the SS because that others them. That puts them
Mm,
out there. They're like this hateful group of people out there somewhere that we
mhm.
don't really know. Instead of looking in the mirror because that's where the hateful person is.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
It's easier to point your finger over there across the ocean at them, but they got their blueprint from right here,
From us.
from
It's because
Jim
people don't
Crow,
read. It's because
right?
people don't
They
read.
got their blueprint from how white
Jim Crow.
people treated black people in America. That's
Absolutely.
how they became one of the most evil groups that anybody has ever known on the planet. But they got that from here. They got that from here. So that that
Exactly.
that is homegrown. And that's why a lot of content creators, especially black creators, are saying, no, 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 no. They're not like the Nazis. They're like slave catchers because that's where modern day policing
Mhm.
evolved from. So the police are also very much like slave catchers, but black
Absolutely.
people already know this. And we've
Right,
been
so
saying it. So when we were saying defund the
I
police,
was just
y'all were like, what's wrong
yeah,
with you guys? That's crazy. And now
baby, defund
on
is
ICE, and again, they should be defunded. Not
absolutely,
even debating. But
absolutely.
the militarization of our police in these federal agencies is ridiculous.
Mhm.
We shouldn't have militarized police presence inside of the United States. And that's what it is right now.
Absolutely.
So I feel like he's declared war on the American people because
Girl,
if
yes.
we are not in league with being mistreated, or for those of us on the fairer side of things, if y'all are not in line with white supremacy, like all bets are off. Like
Absolutely.
you are disposable and we will treat you like a nigga. We're gonna treat you like we treat black people. So y'all know how they treat black people. You know, it's not a secret
You're fully aware.
because now y'all are like, oh yeah, yeah. I think the few
Yeah.
black people died, more than a few, more than a
They're
few.
literally now saying, "The black people have been saying this
They've been
for
telling
how
us.
this has been happening." Yeah, fool. Kamala Harris told you as well.
Yeah.
She let you know this is going to be you.
But we didn't even try to tell them, we literally told them.
Yeah,
We
literally.
literally told them, and they were like, "You're fear-mongering."
And they saw it with their own eyes,
Yeah,
time after time again. There's
and
been
didn't care.
countless there's been countless bodies found with no organs, bodies hanging from the tree. You're saying that it's a
Suicide, that's what they were
suicide.
saying,
Bones are broken in their body. They just broke their own damn bones and hung
and they
themselves in
were
a tree.
saying it was
Come
suicide.
on.
Yeah,
Like, come on. This has happened time and time again. They knew. That's why I'm having the disconnect with my own empathy towards the situation, because I'm like, you knew. There was no way around understanding what was happening, but because it was not happening to you, you didn't even want to address it. You didn't want
yeah.
to involve yourself. You may yourself have been scared that if you said something, that something would happen to you.
Mhm.
That's why I'm having the hard time emotionally with the situation.
I completely understand. I feel very similarly because we've watched this happen for
I ain't telling you my
decades.
age.
But we've watched this happen for decades and seen the injustice. I remember Rodney King. That
Yeah.
was the thing that really woke me up because I was like 11 when that happened. And I remember seeing the officers drag him out of the car. And I thought to myself, what could he have done? Like, I
Mhm.
don't think there's anything that he could have done to deserve that. And then when I heard why they pulled him over, and I was like, "What?" I thought in my young child mind, because children see very clearly sometimes. I
Absolutely.
was like, "Oh, well, clearly they're guilty. This is excessive. There's no need for this." And then I watched all of those officers get off.
Every last one of them.
And I was just like, "Wait a minute. So you guys are lying about what the cops' jobs are because you're supposed to protect and serve. I didn't see none of that. Then you beat this man mercilessly
Mhm.
or nothing. And then no accountability. Sounds about like America.
Yeah.
No accountability when white people inflict violence on black bodies, but maximum accountability if a black person steps out of any sort of line. And not
Any
just a black person, brown person. You can see it in all of the sentences. You know, if you have a drug sentence for one, for a non-black person versus a black person, the black person's doing more time, period. So you over penalize us when we do wrong or are perceived to have done wrong. Because let's face it, black people are also the most exonerated, which means y'all send us to jail for no reason,
for no reason.
more than any other group of people. So
And it
anyway,
doesn't matter if DNA evidence told you we didn't do it, if there was a video of somebody else doing it. I mean, we saw Trump with the New York case that these people were innocent. These young men were innocent, and
oh,
Trump was like, "Put me
oh
in
yeah,
jail
the Central Park Five.
with 5." Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
saw it there. It's like, come on. Like, you can have physical evidence of this black person not doing it. And if there's no other possible person that they can pin it on, you going.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. It's terrifying. It's like, dang, you have to raise your children differently just to be a black person. Like, you have to raise them how to really tiptoe and walk on eggshells in their own country. It's ridiculous,
yeah.
especially if you have a black boy.
Oh,
If
for
you're
sure.
raising a son, the anxiety, I don't have children, but the anxiety some of these black mothers must have just having to have basic conversations with their children on how to behave when they walk outside of the house, because we don't know if you safe and you coming home.
But those are conversations that will start early too in black households about
Absolutely.
how you're supposed to comport yourself if ever confronted by law enforcement and the sheer terror. You just hear those sirens and you already like making sure, double checking, is it me? I hope it's not me. Cause you never know.
You don't even have to hear the sirens. If the police is in the car behind you,
Oh, for
your heart
sure.
Your
Even
heart's
if
beating
you know
fast.
you ain't do anything, they light saying,
Yes.
"Oh, you nervous as hell." Yeah, yeah,
They were
yeah.
behind me the other day, and I said, "Okay, I done paid the insurance, okay." Just because I'm scared, like, you just really never know, and it's terrifying. We literally live in a state of constant PTSD, constant fear, and it's legitimately embedded in our DNA. We're carrying our own fear, but we're also carrying the fear of our ancestors and those before us because trauma is in your DNA and can't pass down, and we just adding on to it.
That's true. We inherit, a knowing societally, culturally, black wise throughout the country. There's so many shared experiences, even though we've grown up coasts apart. There are
Mhm.
things that are culturally black that all of our families do that we all recognize. So we all pass down a collective trauma. But my question would be then, what are they passing down?
Hey,
What are white supremacists passing down? Because
hey.
something's got to be passed down. Well, that.
But hate is technically a trauma. Literally, this is what we talked about in my psych class today.
Okay, go.
That hate, that superiority, all of that is a trauma being passed down
Well,
generationally.
that's for
And
sure.
as we know with trauma, until you heal it, it's just going to continue to manifest.
Hmm.
And that's what's happening culturally. They are manifesting hate. We're manifesting fear. And unknowingly, not necessarily that people don't know when they racist, but I do think that people at times are oblivious to some of the things that they're doing. They think that they're not being racist, but we can clearly see what it is because we're trained to be fearful of it.
Yeah, but I think if certain racist behaviors are their normal and they've never had anybody say anything to them about it, they actually may not know.
Yeah, unchecked behavior.
If nobody has ever clocked them and been like, that right there is not cool because XYZ, there is some genuine ignorance, but then there's
Mhm.
the willful stuff too. There's so much of that going around. And it's just
Yeah.
disheartening. I never thought there would be a day where I'd be like, one, you can't watch the news. Two, you can't trust whatever is said on the news. You can't trust anything that the government says. Now, as a black person, I should probably have felt that way a long time ago, but I don't feel that more strongly than I do right now.
Yeah.
Like, the FBI is gonna investigate fraud.
Yeah. Trump ain't
No,
told.
it's gonna be bogus. The
Yeah.
Department of Justice, you mean the Department of Injustice?
Hello.
Pam Bondi used to be a decent lawyer in Florida, and then she got all magnified, and now she can't lawyer her way out of a paper bag. Like, I don't this is
They need to disbar her.
I mean,
Yeah.
at
Nothing that
least.
lady has
But
done
the
has been
the the buffoonery, right? Like, this is crazy. Like, America is a joke right now. The world is both laughing and terrified at the same time at what's
nobody's
going
more
on
terrified than
in
us.
America. Yeah, because
They're definitely laughing at us.
this is crazy, but we knew that already. We've been known.
But this is who we have always been. It's just now on full display for the whole world to see.
Yeah, and for a lot of our fellow citizens to see for the first
Yes,
time. Hello.
absolutely.
'Cause it's been this way, but y'all really didn't wanna believe when we told you, so now you can see clearly. I mean, the rose-colored glasses was rosing. They had them thinking, rainbows and butterflies in the sky. They
Right.
were doing that, and now if you take off them glasses, you gon' see everything ain't sweet out here.
Holly.
But we've been telling you that. No, I got twins, and one I could talk to and be like, "Don't touch that stove, it's hot." And he'd be like, "Noted, don't touch stove." Right? He'll fall back. Then I got the other twin. Don't touch the stove. It's hot. Stove? Okay. Listen, you going to find out whichever way. Listen,
Yeah,
you going to learn the way you need to learn. Sometimes experience is the only way for somebody to get the message.
absolutely.
Tell them all day and they're not going to listen because they're hard headed. And
And here
then
we are.
when they go through it themselves, they come back and find you and be like, okay, so you was saying that
Right.
the stove was hot. I'm like,
They're
yes.
literally like, "What should we do next? Where are the black people?" And I'm like, "Do y'all realize that when we're getting murdered in the streets, we are not asking where are the white people? Where are the Hispanic people? Where are the Asians? Where are we asked you where nobody was. We just show up for each other and do what we need to do. So please do not ask where are the black people. Those of them that will show up for you will show up for you organically, but don't go searching for us because everybody black ain't coming."
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen some people talking about, okay, black people, you've proven your point. Do you think that's what this is?
Right.
This is just us proving a point. Listen, I'm not trying to be on the front line because I voted.
Honey, you passed the test.
I did. I got a 92. And so it's like we did not have to live this.
Mm-mm.
But some people would rather burn the house down with all of us in it than for us
including
to all
themselves.
have the same rights and freedoms.
Including themselves. They will burn
Right.
this thing to the ground
With
with
all of us
themselves
in
in
it.
it. Like,
And I'm like,
is you cool?
that is a special kind of crazy. That is a
Absolutely.
special kind of crazy.
It's not funny, but it's funny at the same time because it's like, is you cool?
No, clearly they are not. They are not. That is a special kind of delulu. Like, what is in your cup? Because I don't want none of that. None of it. That's wild to me. But that's again, that's training. That's the propaganda. That's the brainwashing
Yeah.
of a lot of these individuals that are believe in and uphold white supremacy, because I don't want to just talk about those that believe in it by actively practicing it. I'm also talking about those who don't do anything to stop it.
Baby. Because white silence is violence. Trust me.
That part. That part. Because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, well, I mean, I don't say the N word,
Mm-hmm.
but you also don't do anything else.
At all. At
So,
all.
I
And
mean, who is that helping?
right.
If you think it's going to protect you, understand that you are disposable just like everybody else.
Right.
If you are not rich, white, and male,
And on Epstein Island, but y'all didn't hear that from me because I ain't the one that got sued.
girl, the fact there are so many people that are like, I can't believe I'm just why? Why?
Why couldn't you believe that? This man
I don't
was
it's
sitting
just
on the couch being interviewed and looked at his own daughter and said, "She has a nice rack. If this was not my daughter, I would sleep with her." You knew what Trump was on when he
man,
spoke about his child that way.
when he talked about, you could just walk up to him and grab him by the what? And now you see what he allegedly did to these little girls? Is that
He
not the exact same thing he said?
this I say this all the time. Trump is the most lying, telling the truth ass person I ever seen in my life. This man is lying and telling the truth at the same damn time. I've never seen
Equal
anything
parts. He
like
be mixing them in, you'll never know. But yeah,
baby.
no, he is an honest liar
Yeah. And
because
big
he
one.
does tell on himself a lot. He
Yeah.
like volunteers stuff. I don't know. I think maybe it's the dementia,
Hello.
but he does. He tells on himself. But I think that when you are at that level of power and narcissism, you truly believe you are untouchable. Now, as
Yeah.
long as he occupies the office of the presidency, he cannot be prosecuted.
Yeah.
Therefore, he doesn't care about what he says because I think he's banking on either one of two things happening. One, never having any more elections again, and two, dying before he can ever be prosecuted.
One, I don't think he's gonna get out of office at any given time. They're gonna have to drag his ass out.
But
He's
I'm
not
saying
gonna
that
leave.
he also knows that if he doesn't leave office and dies as the president, he will never be held to account. So
Absolutely.
that's that he doesn't plan on being ever held to. In fact, that's why he ran. That's why I
Yeah.
said he ran. I said
Yeah,
he's
me
running
too.
again to avoid prosecution because
Me
he is
too.
this close to having to do this trial with Jack Smith and all that. He's this close. He is indicted. He's got all these counts. And
Yeah.
then ta-da, he's now the president.
Which is why
So
he got up
all of
there
that
and
goes
said,
away. Even
I
though,
love ignorant people. I love the stupid people because y'all finna put me back in office and I'm
mhm,
gonna be protected. Cause he
yeah,
knew.
yeah.
I said that too. I agree with you. That's exactly why he ran.
I said the
This
only
man
reason
never
he's
had
running
any
is because
interest
he
in
don't want to
being
go to
our
prison.
president. He had no
That's
interest.
it.
He didn't even have an interest in making your damn egg price lower like he told y'all.
No, he just has an interest in enriching himself and those around him,
Greasing
but
palms,
mostly
because I don't
himself.
even think he care about if they're rich or not. He gonna grease their palm just enough for
No,
them
I
to
don't
go
think he
ahead
does
and
either
do.
because, if a narcissist don't care about nobody except themselves.
Nobody. Nobody. This man literally somebody he was walking doing a tour of a plant and somebody said, F you, Trump, and he turned around and gave that person the finger. Now, had that been Obama, Obama wore a tan suit and we are in 2026 and people are still talking about that man
Yeah.
wearing a tan suit. Trump got his ass up here giving people the finger.
But
Now, I'm not
see,
gonna lie,
that
I laugh at some of the stuff he do because he kind of like he's kinda like somebody's old delusional ass grandpa. I'll just be like, "What the hell? Like,
yeah.
what are you doing?"
But that's a reflection of everything that we were talking about earlier. The
Yeah.
look at what standard they hold black people to.
Right,
versus the standard that they hold somebody like Donald Trump to. I mean,
right.
Trump has literally broken pretty much any law that you could think of. He is still president of the United States. Barack Obama wore a tan suit, and that was a whole scandal.
Baby, they still in the uproar. That man ain't been the president in I don't know how long. And you could ask somebody, well, what do you think is going on with the economy? They're gonna be like, Obama messed up the economy. Baby, we done had multiple presidents.
Hey, everything is
Just say Biden did it. If Biden was at least recently the president, you skip Biden and say, I'm going right back to Obama. We're gonna go right on
yeah.
back. More than 8 years. Obama
Right.
did
I'm
it.
like, okay. All right. But the fact that you can get on television as the president and just lie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, just bold-faced lie. And not like I'm protecting national secrets lie. It's just I'm lying about everything. Hell, I'll tell you the sky is green today cuz just
Yeah.
why not? Cuz he
Right.
lies about everything. And then they'll be like, "Truth, truth, lies.
Yeah.
Truth, truth, truth,
And then the truth be the
lies.
most
I'll sleep with
shocking
my
shit
daughter
you
if I want
heard.
to. Lie, truth, lie, truth,
The
truth,
truth
lies."
be the most shocking shit on earth. Like, what? You're gonna
Yeah.
grab who by the what? You like
Yeah,
your
and
daughter?
and
Like,
and
what?
it's so funny, our Christian evangelicals didn't have a problem with that.
At all. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
Because according to the Bible, Trump should have been looking back and turned in a salt
Hmm.
for all the
So
stuff he done did.
but they don't read you gotta
I know
read it
that
in order to
you gotta
know.
open it. They gotta open it. That's
Right, you
all.
gotta read it first.
They
You
gotta
gotta
open
know what's in there, and
You're
I can
right.
tell you Trump don't know nothing about the
Uh-uh.
remember when he
Uh-uh.
went out and he had that Bible upside down and he had, like, the
Girl. That's he the devil. Oh, I ain't gonna do that to him. But I mean, upside down Bible. Come on, bro.
listen, if the shoe fit,
Lace that bad
wear
boy up.
wear that bitch. That's all I listen, I don't know if I wanna give him that much credit, but, they'd be homies.
Hello.
Nothing
They
else.
vacation on the same island. Who'll say that?
That's not funny. It's really not funny. It shouldn't be funny.
My God. And you know
Yeah.
what? It's not even a laughter of it being humorous. It's just like, what the hell else can we do? At this point, but
Whoa. I
just gotta
mean,
be like,
this
what?
is yeah, easily the worst president ever in the history
Hands
of
down.
American presidents.
Hands down. And you know, honestly, I think that Obama was a good president, but I don't even think he was perfect. So
No,
he did
no,
shit
he wasn't.
sometimes, and
He
I'd be
wasn't.
like, okay,
He wasn't.
okay,
But
what
but
you
he
doing?
had to he had to toe a line that none of the rest of them had to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because
Absolutely.
could you imagine if there was a scandal of, like Bill Clinton, say, for
Uh-oh.
Obama? Hell no. No, he could not.
He would've got
He
out the
could
office
not
that day.
have anything like that happen.
No. He would've got
Absolutely
out
not.
the office
He
that
had to
day.
just go to work, do the job. That's it. That's all he
That's
could
it.
do. That's all he could do. Because if anything stepped outside that line, boy, but
And all they could come up with was, "No, he didn't wear this tan suit out here." That's all they could come up with in Obamacare. And now look at you, no care. Okay.
but they never
Alright.
had a solution. They never had a plan.
Mm-mm.
But
'Cause they never
again,
cared.
people they will burn their whole house down with them inside just to keep black folks from getting
Yeah,
like I said, a special kind of crazy. Special
absolutely.
kind of crazy. But that is unfortunately the world that we find ourselves in. But that's why we do what we can to amplify our voices and make ourselves heard. Baby, we got to tell the truth out here because
That's
people need to
right.
hear it.
That's
They need to
right.
stop lying to themselves and understand the realities that we are facing, and it is very grave, it is very dire, and that is that's not gaslighting. That's
Mm-mm.
what's going on. If you really wanna know the pulse of America, we got 2 black women right here. You might wanna listen. Listen to a black woman. We know.
Hello.
Alright? Before we close it out, you got anything else you wanna say to the people?
Just happy, amazing Black History Month. What a time for us to be alive. We're here, we're banding together, we are using our voices to get where we need to be. Just happy Black History Month. Continue to love the skin that you're in, every shade, every tone, because Black people are truly amazing.
Absolutely. And though the times feel heavy and they are darker than they have been in a long time, also understand that the Harlem Renaissance was during the Great Depression. So it was one of the worst times in America And out of that, we as a society, as a collective culture, were able to find so much beauty and joy in our creativity and keeping our minds active. Even if our bodies were oppressed, we kept our minds free. And so I would encourage us to do the same thing even now, to continue to find joy, because I think that is in and of us an act of resistance. Excuse me. So I would encourage us to all find some joy and have an amazing Black History Month. And please understand that Black history is American history, and it
Absolutely.
deserves the entire year, not just a month. But we're going to rock it out for this month. So that's it. I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, shout out to episode 2.
Episode 2.